All right, baby. Welcome to the Gridiron. Basically, where we talk about how great the New York Football Giants are and how much the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys blow. That gets me every time. That's it. Welcome to the Gridiron. If you can like this video, maybe share it. That'd be freaking awesome. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please, if you're checking out on YouTube, please get down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. It's free of charge. What do you got to lose? Also, checking out on YouTube in the description box below, the very top link if you want to help support my channel. I got 3 different membership levels. First one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level I got's called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 9,100 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in that group darn near 365. And then there's a link underneath that takes you to my Twitter account. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. All right, well, it's, man, well, let's see what, today's Monday. I'm sorry, Monday. I get screwed up. I was thinking yesterday with the holiday was Sunday. So I thought, actually, today's Tuesday. Benny G-Man, happy old Labor. That's it, brother. Yeah, big week. You got it, man. You got it, brother. Let's get it on. No, I'm saying, yeah, today's Monday because yesterday was Sunday because everybody in the world had off yesterday. No. So today's Tuesday. So 2 days, actually, whatever, 48 hours from now, I guess be pretty much being over. I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, the only thing I hate about the football season starting, and includes preseason, I say, because it just goes by just so freaking fast. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, it is what it is. But you're waiting all off season and finally it's here. And it's like, before you know it, you're going to turn around. And it's like, we're in week 5 already. You're like, what happened? What's going on? What? You know, it just flies by so fast. It's like, before you know, it will be like halfway through January. And it's like, oh my God, the season's, we just, all of it, the draft and all of that and now it's over. What the is going? Yeah, so that's the only thing. Once it starts, it's just like bam, 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 bam. But then when it's over, then you start doing it all over again, right? So the one nice thing I do love about it is that the way they got it set up, they're pretty smart, those guys, right? It's all about, right? It's all about the Benjamins, the market, and all that. There's always something, to look forward to. Right, I mean, because you got the playoffs. What do we got? The playoffs are halfway in that July. By the time the Super Bowl's done now with all the games and there, I mean, but I mean, then after that, then you got with the college, the combine, right? Then you got free agency. The combine's like toward the end of, obviously the scouting all the players and. So the combine's like toward the end of February, then a couple weeks later in March, and you got free agency. Then of course you got the draft coming, and then you got the little mini camps and all that. So basically, I mean, what the season is, there's like 5 or 6 weeks from like June to July where there's like pretty much nothing going on. But other than that, once they come back, it's. And the other thing I do like, unfortunately, it's not. Like televised at all or anything, but with the when you're practicing, going up against what the Giants did with the Lions 2 times and with the Jets, that I like. Unfortunately, it's not televised, but there's some good competition there, especially now that we're down to 3 preseason games, and I guess the inevitable is coming around that when we quite possibly the inevitable when we go up to 18. Games, it's going to go down to 2 preseason games. So it's like a week week 5, and we are done. All right. Yeah, well, because let's see. I mean, weeks 3 to 8 or that's some tough games. 6 games. That's a tough stretch right there. Tough. I mean, I'm saying if we can go like maybe 4-4, whew, that would be nice. Let's see here. David D. David D's in the house. What's up, brother? Let's see. New York. We got Giants. Yeah, he's at weeks 3 to 8. Those. I mean, it's, I mean, you just can't just say, yeah, we're going to beat the Vikes, and then of course we're going into Washington. We're winning that one. You know what I mean? Yeah, any given Sunday, anything can happen. But it really would benefit the Giants, really, if they could win the first 2 games of the season. But I said, but then after that, after you got the Vikings and the Commanders, then you got the Browns. Yeah, that'll be tough. Then of course, then you got the Cowboys. Maybe one of these years, maybe we'll beat the Cowboys. Am I asking for too much? Maybe. Right? Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, they really didn't do it. I mean, bringing back ABCD Lamb. I mean, okay, he was already on the roster. I mean, bringing back Zeke and Dalvin Cook. Is it? Okay. So. But then again, I want to keep my mouth shut because I'm like, because last year, I mean, week 1, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I actually picked the Giants. I think I picked them like 24-23 or something like that. I thought we closed the gap last year with the Cowboys. So I'm just keep my mouth shut with that. But, the Cowboys really did not do a whole heck of a lot this year. So, but I'll have to wait and see. But so you got obviously the Browns, and you got the Cowboys, then you got at the Seahawks, then you got the Bengals, then you got the Eagles, and then you got at Pittsburgh. So that's going to be a tough stretch right there, because you figure at Pittsburgh, you've got the Eagles, but I mean, I mean, if Saquon can walk and chew gum, I mean, or if something, they'll get them on the field somehow. You know what I mean? And oh man, they're going to put they'll have a 9-line scrim. They'll put like 9 offensive linemen. Jalen Hurts just hand the ball. They're going to try to get him yards, touches, touchdowns, whatever they can try to do. If for Saquon, then the Bengals, at least that one's at home, so that's nice. But at Seattle. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Seattle toward the end of this here. But, oh, yeah, Seattle. Of course, the Cowboys. And then you got, as I said, then the Browns. But after that, let's see, we got the Commanders at home, and then we're playing in Carolina. So, if we can start off 0-2, I'm sorry, 0-2. We can start off 2-0. Out of those next 6 games, somehow if we can win 2, we go 2-4 out of that murderer's row there. That would put us 4-4. Then we have, 2 games, 2 possible, once again, winnable games, right? Possible. I mean, if we can be 6-4, that would be nice. Then what do we got? We got the bye, so that's nice. Okay. Then of course, we get the Bucks at home, right? That's a winnable game. Then we got the Cowboys. I don't know if it's going to be a yearly ritual where all of a sudden we're playing the Cowboys every other year on Thanksgiving or something. I mean, I'm kind of a little lost here. I mean, the Cowboys would always play like a different team like every other year. You know what I mean? I mean, they don't play the same team, 2 times in 3 years. I'm a little lost with that. But anyway. Then we got the Saints at home. Then we got the Ravens at home. Then we got the Falcons. They quite possibly be quite improved. But then we have the Colts at home. That's a winnable one. And then we got the Eagles. So, but the thing is, like especially like with the Eagles, I mean, you don't know. Something as Bob Papa always says, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. Like if the Eagles maybe have the division sewn up or something like that, maybe they put their back. You don't know. But but after we get done with that murderer's row, we got some games that certainly are winnable, without question. So I mean, if we could be like 4-4 after the first 8 weeks, that wouldn't be bad. I mean, that would certainly give us a good chance. Maybe to make some type of a playoff push. That would be nice. That would really, really be nice. But that is a tough schedule, especially from weeks 3 to 8. Now, of course, then what we figured out, of course, is that, kind of thought all along, right? Daboll finally confirms that he's taken over the play calling duties. They kind of thought that. It's official. Brian Daboll's taken over play calling duties for the Giants. He acknowledged that what most observers expected on Tuesday before practice. I mean, I don't even know if, just to be, I don't even know. Did anybody else call plays at all in the preseason? Be a little weird for him to call almost like every play, practice, preseason games and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, Mike Kafka, you have the play calling duties back. So. So he was asked during the press conference. He said, "Yeah, I'm doing it." He said that, however, was as much as he is willing to reveal regarding the decision. I forgot who asked him the question. Might have been Jordan Renan. He seems that in those press conferences for some reason, I don't know why Jordan Renan seems to ask out of every 10 questions, for some reason Jordan Renan seems to be asking 5 of them. I'm not sure why, but. As head coach, Daboll said he is responsible for everything when asked about taking extra responsibilities. It was speculated that Daboll took over those duties from offensive coordinator Mike Kafka last season, though it was never confirmed, and Kafka remains on the staff in the same position. He declined to go into why he made the change, repeatedly saying his focus was on preparing to face the Vikings in Week 1 at MetLife Stadium. Now, I was saying you can't blame them, because especially now, right? Things are going to start getting a little hot for his seat. Now, after the season's over with, we don't make the playoffs, say we only win 7 games, but you have to put some context, though. Did Daniel Jones get hurt? Did Drew Lock get hurt? Did all our wide receivers get hurt? Our offensive line get, So you got to put stuff in context, But if everybody's relatively healthy and we only win 6 or 7 games, that's not doing too good, So I was, if he's going to start going down right with the Titanic, he wants to go down with guns a-blazing. If he can call plays, and if he's had success in the past calling plays, don't let it to. Don't let it to anybody else, especially if you're the best person in that whole organization as far as calling plays, call the plays. Right? Kafka's probably gone after the season anyway. I can't see why he would wind up hanging around, especially if he's not calling plays. So, But if Daboll's going down with the ship, go down with guns blazing, right? Call the plays. I can't blame him at all. All right. Then also, the Giants are pretty young. Giants are a pretty young team. I think they were the 4th youngest team. How young is the Giants roster? Giants have one of the youngest rosters in the league entering the season, and and if you go back and you look, right, at some of the reason why the Giants aren't as young as they could be, a lot of the guys they brought in, got some, especially like some of the offensive line, right? The guys they brought in are, got some experience to them. Now, you always want to have that nice mixture. You just don't want to, oh no, anybody who turns 25, we're just going to cut them. We just want everybody young. You got to have that. You got to have that mixture in there. But if you look at a lot of the guys that the Giants brought in, veteran guys that have some years, some experience, which obviously is a very good thing. But I mean, the Giants, I think, are the fourth youngest? Yeah. Yep. The Packers. So I mean, look at it. I mean, the Chiefs are the fifth youngest team, 25.73 years old each one. So the Packers are the youngest team, and look how well they did last year. Obviously, I think I can't remember what the second youngest in starting position. Possibly, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they brought in a bunch of guys, obviously, but yeah, I mean, young, very, very young, and yeah, you like that. I really, really, really like that. Hopefully, but Shane says you like to have, you draft them, you develop them, and sometimes the hardest thing to do is to keep them, right? Because when it comes time to start forking up some Benjamins, sometimes the NFL does not want it like that, right? They don't want it like that. If you develop and you develop good players and they want to get paid, don't blame them. I'd want to get paid too. But the NFL doesn't. That's the only thing I don't like, is that sometimes it's almost impossible to keep all your players. Sometimes, especially if you either draft too good or you just keep stinking each year and you keep drafting really low, when it comes time for the guy, I mean, it would be nice if they could do something with the quarterback salary, right? Where it doesn't, doesn't, I mean, because look, I don't know what. Throw a number out there. 10 years from now, we'll have the first $100 million a year guy. It's going there. And the thing is that, once you start getting up there, it's not, some guys making $70 million. Well, I want to make $70 million and $100,000. No, it just starts. He making 70. I got to make 71 or 72. The next guy coming in, he's making 72. I want 75. He's making 75. I got to grab me that 79. It's got to, I mean, when you're down, when you're making $1 million, I'll take 1.1. That's a nice bump. That's a 10% raise, right? You go from $1 million to 1.1. All right, okay, that's cool, 10. But I mean, the way we're going, right? So that whoever the first quarter, right now, the first $100 million a year person is alive. I don't know. They're 10 years old right now, 11, whatever. But there's somebody out there in the world who's alive, who's throwing footballs right now, right? Who's going to be first $100 million a year person. Now, as I said, I don't know, be 10 years, 9, 12, I don't know, but we're heading that way, right? It's just that, you get in this one position, going to takes up let's say, just say you're making $50 million. That's about 20%, right? The salary cap's around $250. You got $50 million. Some of the upper echelon guys are obviously making more than that. So, 20% of your salary for one guy. I wish they could do something with that. That would either slow it down, which I know they can't slow down the escalation of the pay scale, which I guess you can't. The Players Association doesn't want nothing to do with that. But I wish they could do something with the quarterback salary that's just separate, and then you have the rest of the team, something like that. I wish, but it is what it is. But the Giants are soon you're going to pay. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know why? It's all about the Benjamins, right? Pay-per-view, what are we at? WrestleMania, 7,442 trillion right now. It's just, but I remember, I'm so old. How old are you? I'm so old. I remember watching on ABC Sports, Muhammad Ali boxing. I remember when George Foreman knocked Joe Frazier down 3 times in the second round, I think it went, and Howard Cosell, down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He says it like 3 times. I mean, it was just, it's free. It's free. Boxing match, free. The title fight, Muhammad Ali on TV for free. What a concept. Free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. Right. I mean, you figure you got, I don't know, whatever. I have no idea. Once again, 100 million households all watching the Super Bowl. Hey, you put $50, charge $50 or something. $50 on 100 million. Oh, yeah. Sure. Whatever. $100 or something. Sure. Oh, yeah. That's it. I said, just, the more it's about the money, I understand it and all and everything, but yeah, I just can't stand that stuff. I absolutely can't stand that stuff. It is what it is. I mean, there are some things that I do like. Okay. I mean, a lot, as you see, a lot of old farts. It's like we always like, well, in the olden days, that's the way I like football. This stuff nowadays, I don't know what the hell's going on out there. You know what I mean? But there are some good things. I really like the safety that they're trying to protect the guys with. The helmets and the rule. I do appreciate that. That's nice. I wish they could get some type of health care for the players. Once they leave football, I mean, let's curb, the pay for the guys, but in return, cutting down the pay for the guy, not taking money away, but where they only make like whatever, 5% raise or something, or whatever, I mean, you curb, what I mean, but. You do that, but about what we're going to do, we'll try to get you and maybe your family or whatever, permanent, as long as the football player's alive or something or whatever, we'll get you free health care for the rest of your life. Something like that, something along those lines. But so there are some good things. And one thing I do like is, to me, it's a bargain. It's the Sunday ticket. It's with YouTube now. It used to be with DirecTV. But because I was in Long Island, 1977. We moved down here to South Jersey. Well, the problem with that is that I'm a Giant fan. So you're down here in South Jersey. I'm about half an hour from the Philadelphia Eagles stadium. About half an hour. Depends upon traffic. I mean. So I'm close. So unfortunately, on TV, all you see is the Eagles. Right. So, when I came here in the late 70s and the 80s, especially when the Giants win in Super Bowls and all that, in 1986, I want to turn the TV on. I want to see the Giants. No. Said, you might see the Giants maybe 5-6 times during the season. You'd see them the 2 times they played the Eagles. Giants might be on Monday Night Football a couple times. Then it would be a Cowboy game, maybe 6-7 times or so during the season the Giants would be on. But other than that, you're screwed. You got to drive up north to see the game or something or whatever. Other than that, you're not going to see you can't see the Giants. But the way they have it now with the Sunday ticket, you can see any game. Doesn't matter. So that I like. I mean, I got the Sunday ticket from DirecTV in 2000. I always remember that because that was the first. My first year I got the DirecTV, the Sunday ticket. But of course, they went to the Super Bowl. So that was. So I'll never forget that. That was a great season. But that was the first season. It was in 2000 that I moved here in 77. So I had to go from 1977 all the way to 2000 without seeing, only maybe seeing 4, 5, 6, 7 Giant games during the season. More than half of them I'd miss because they just weren't on TV around here. You couldn't get them. But with the Sunday ticket, actually the Sunday ticket was out earlier than that. I just never bought it. Right. But in 2000, I started watching it. So then that was the first time since I moved down here in South Jersey, I could see every Giant game. And since 2000, I've seen every Giant game. So, I mean, that I like. So there are some really nice things going on and all. But I said one of the things is, like the salaries with the quarterbacks and, you just can't afford to keep all your players and stuff like that. And some of that stuff I just don't really like. But, I mean, the Giant team is just, just chock full of youth. I mean, Giants have made a number of roster decisions this summer that indicated desire to choose young players whenever possible. They traded soon-to-be 32-year-old defensive tackle Jordan Phillips to the Cowboys. Now, let's not forget, the Giants brought Phillips in, right? So that raised a little bit their, the age of the team, but they brought him in, right? He's one of the guys that they wanted to bring in. You had some experience to him and all, but yeah. So they traded away. The nice thing about that is they traded away him, and then they wound up swapping picks. So they, with the Cowboys. So hopefully the pick that they get from the Cowboys, when they swapped the 6th and 7th round pick, I think it was, or something like that. So hopefully that guy will make the team, right? Let's see here. And then they kept undrafted rookie free agent Elijah the Hustle Chapman, right? And third-year player DJ Davidson. They released 30-year-old defensive back Jalen Mills. They ended up filling that spot by claiming Anthony Johnson Jr., a second-year player, off waivers from the Packers. Now, the thing is, what I heard from Anthony Johnson Jr. is that he didn't get much of a chance to participate last season. So they might have some hopes there, right, with him. That might really be a good waiver pick for the Giants. Rather than sign a veteran running back to back up Devin Singletary, they will use second-year man Eric Gray and Tyrone Tracy Jr. And then, of course, we got Turbo Miller on the practice squad. So, we got young running backs. Young. They drafted Tyler Nubin to replace Xavier McKinney. Now, with that one, that's, you got to give Nubin a year or two or so, whatever. Let's, obviously to see, right? But the kind of thing with that is Xavier I think he's only like 25. So it's not like we lost, Xavier McKinney, who was a 33-year-old Xavier McKinney. We lost, Xavier is like, young. So. But, I'm very excited to see Nubin. Very, very excited to see him out there. No question. They kept second-year player Bryce Ford Wheaton, right? I tell you what, I was shocked when they decided, happy, but I was kind of shocked because I hadn't been hearing a whole ton of good things, not necessarily bad things about him, but, usually what you like to hear is, a training camp, the reporters, oh, man, Bryce Ford Wheaton came down with another catcher. Bryce Ford Wheaton, I didn't hear a heck of a lot about him. I heard a lot more about him last year. But I guess they also kind of thought that if they let him go on waivers, somebody would scoop him up. So they didn't think maybe he'd get back on the practice squad. Let's see. Rather than any three veteran options of Isaiah Hodgins, Miles Boykin, and Allen Robinson. The result is a roster that is young in several places. How young? And average 25.7 years of age. The Giants are the fourth youngest roster in the NFL. Their starting lineup averages 25.5 years of age, which is the second youngest behind the Packers, which is 25.49. Giants are 25.50. Packers 25.49. So basically they're the same age. Right? That might be skewed ever so slightly when the 28-year-old Adoree Jackson, that's true too, is officially added to the roster, but not by much. Here is the breakdown of the youngest and oldest roster. So the Bucks, the Bucks are 2, the Packers are 1, the Bucks are 2, the Eagles are 3rd, Giants are 4th, and the Chiefs are 5th. Now the thing is with the Chiefs, of course, obviously is they're young and all that stuff, but it's all hinges on Patrick Mahomes. If he's there, they can be the oldest unit and still have a chance. They can have a bunch of kindergartners running around out there. They got Patrick Mahomes out there. They got a chance. So, but then the oldest ones, the Dolphins are the oldest. But even look at this. The Giants are 25.70. The Dolphins are the oldest unit at 27.3. So basically, the Dolphins average about a year and a half older than just. It's not like the The Packers are number 1 at 25, and the Dolphins are number 32. They average 31 point. Yeah, I mean, they're all very, very young, very, very young. The Vikings they're the second oldest, but 27.15. The 49ers are 26.98. The Commanders are 26.97. Oh, let's see. It's going to click on it. It's going to open up. There we go. Oldest full roster, youngest full roster. Okay. Youngest starting age. Yeah, so the Giants are the second young. Yeah, what he said. Once they put a Dory Jackson in there, it's going to bring it up just a little bit. But yeah, it's Giants are a young group. Young group. All right. Now, next. Unfortunately, they when they got Miles Boykin back and put him on the practice squad, I was kind of happy about that. I thought, there was also some talk that quite possibly Miles Boykin might make the 53, but obviously that didn't wind up happening. But and so he's been released, but of course that does not mean that he, if somebody else doesn't obviously claim, doesn't mean he won't be back again someday. But oh yeah, the Giants made a few roster changes. It was on Monday though to kick off the week, waiving Miles Boykin and placing fullback Jakob Johnson on the practice squad to take his place. Johnson had a few solid moments in preseason, paving the way on several big runs and contributing on special teams, which is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Both players have faced tough journeys in the NFL, and here's a closer look at their struggles and their fight to earn a roster spot. Boykin began his NFL journey when he was drafted by the Ravens in the third round of the 2019 NFL Draft. A standout player at Notre Dame, Boykin was known for his impressive size, athleticism, and ability to make contested catches. In Baltimore, he showcased his potential as a deep threat and a reliable target, especially during his rookie season. However, injuries and the Ravens' run-heavy offense, which is true, limited his opportunities to fully develop as a receiver. After 3 seasons with the Ravens, Boykin was waived in 2022 and subsequently claimed by the Steelers. In Pittsburgh, he found a new opportunity to contribute, particularly on special teams as a depth receiver, aiming to revitalize his career with a fresh start in a different system. Jakob Johnson's path to the NFL. Johnson's journey to the NFL is a remarkable story of perseverance and adaptability. Growing up in Stuttgart, Germany, he played football before moving to the United States to pursue his dream. Johnson played college football at the University of Tennessee, where he initially struggled to make an impact. However, his determination and hard work earned him a spot on the New England Patriots roster through the NFL's International Player Pathway Program in 2019. As a fullback, Johnson quickly proved his value with powerful blocking and versatility, becoming a reliable part of the Patriots' offense over several seasons. His physical style of play and team-first mentality earned him respect and a role in the NFL, paving the way for other international players. In 2022, Johnson signed with the Raiders, where he continued to showcase his skills and contribute both on offense and special teams, solidifying his place as a unique and inspiring success story in the league. For now, Johnson holds a spot on the practice squad, but the Giants are always looking for upside and contributors. So his role may be cemented for now, but the grass is always greener elsewhere. So, that's the one thing unfortunately with the practice squad. Yeah, I mean, he with Johnson, unfortunately, it's special teams, his blocking ability and all and everything, but if somebody else out there pops up who who give you a little more maybe bang for the buck or whatever, you can. I'm not so sure how secure Johnson's spot on the practice squad will wind up being, but I'll have to wait and see. But I mean, as of right now, as of right of this minute, he's there. Johnson has been cut and signed 3 times since the Giants initially trimmed the roster down to 53 players last week. 3 times. Yeah. The veteran fullback was released during the initial roster cuts and then signed to the practice squad roster the following day. Then Johnson was signed to the active roster after center Austin Schlottman was placed on the reserved injured list. He was then released again to make room for a Dory Jackson signing over the weekend. Now, Johnson is back on the practice squad. The Giants like Boykin as a special teams option at gunner, but he didn't survive the initial cuts last week. The former third-round pick hasn't done much as a wide receiver since joining the NFL in 2019 with the Ravens. There's a chance he's back on the practice squad at some point, but for now, the Giants are opting to keep Johnson in the mix for a potential elevation in Week 1 against the Vikings. So, well, obviously, have to keep your eye on him. And as I said, I mean, a lot of times, with the unless another team claims him or whatever, if they're still available, you're only one play away from being brought back on the practice squad, or you're only one play away from being on the practice squad and being elevated to the 53. Right? Somebody, I mean, like as we know with the Giants, injuries do happen quite often. And sometimes, we've had them in the past where our wide receivers get decimated, right? So Boykin's available out there, right? There's only, I don't want to jinx nothing. I hope that we don't have an injury. Actually, I hope nobody gets injured on any team, even the Eagles. And that's hard for me to say. But, I mean, I don't want nobody getting injured, But, I mean, if somebody gets injured, Miles Boykin is only one phone call away from at least being back on the practice squad, right? So I'll have to wait and see there. All right, then we got the first. That is this is for like keeping like morons like me, I guess, happy. I guess maybe the first unofficial. It's like whoopie-doo depth chart. They released it. Once again, this is just for people like me. Giants released the first unofficial depth chart for Week 1 versus the Vikings. All right, so their base offense. Now we got what they have here. They have the combo package. The one wide receiver. They got Jalen Hyatt / Darius Slayton. So I guess it's 1A and 1B, I guess, right? Then, of course, we got Wan'Dale Robinson and Gunnar Olszewski. The other wide receiver, some dude by the name of Malik Neighbors, and, of course, Bryce Ford Wheaton. So, right, we got Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Malik Neighbors. And, of course, your backups are Bryce Ford Wheaton and Gunnar Olszewski. So, possibly, well, I'll have to wait and see how many, because they got 53 on the roster, but they don't dress 53. So some guys, right, on the 53 or won't all suit up. We'll have to see who does and doesn't wind up suiting up. But if Gunnar Olszewski is it's quite possibly they got him there, quite possibly for the return part of the program. But it'd be nice to see Bryce Ford Wheaton get some reps. And I don't want it to be because somebody else got injured, but it'd be nice to see, what he can do. I mean, they gave him a little signing bonus, a nice signing bonus for a reason. So, all right, then we got, right tackle. We got Jermaine Illuminor and Evan Neal. Then we got right guard, we get Van Roten, and Aaron Stinney is his backup. John Michael Schmitz Jr., of course, the center, and Van Roten, once again, he's the backup center. Runyon Jr. is the left guard. Jake Kubis is the backup left guard. Andrew Thomas is the left tackle, and Joshua Zudu. So I'm not sure who the swing tackle would wind up being. If it's a Zudu, or if it's Neal, or once again, out of the 53, they don't dress 53, so. Maybe between Izudu or Neal, one of those guys that does not dress, because you don't need 2 swing tackles. So we'll have to wait and see. Running back, of course, Devin Singletary, Eric Gray. You got him. He's the second stringer, and Tyrone Tracy Jr. is the third stringer. Bellinger's tight end number 1. Theo is number 2. And Chris Manhurts is number 3. Of course, Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan. The base defense, of course, you got Brian Burns at outside linebacker / defensive end, edge rusher, whatever you want to call him. Then you got Boogie Basham is his backup. The nose tackle, Dexter Lawrence, DJ Davidson, and Jordan Riley. Then you got a defensive tackle, Nacho and Elijah Chapman. Let's see. Outside, so there's the outside linebacker. They got Brian Burns as the defensive end, but then they got Kayvon Thibodeau as an outside linebacker. But Azeez Ojulari is behind Kayvon, and then you got Benton Whitley is the third string. Inside, you got your inside linebackers. You got Akarake and McFadden. You got Carter Coughlin and Muasau. So that's an interesting dynamic duo there. I mean, then you got Curtis Bolton is the third string at the inside linebacker. And of course, then you got your nickel back is Drew Phillips and Isaiah Simmons. Cornerback number 1, Deonte Banks, Trey Hopkins the third. Safeties, you got Belton and Pinnock. Then you got Newman and Anthony Johnson Jr. I'm very excited about that. That's a young group of safeties, very young. And your other cornerback would be Cordell Flott, Nick McLeod, and Adoree Jackson. Actually, as of right now, they got Adoree Jackson as the third stringer, but I don't think that's going to last very long. Casey Crider. It'll be interesting to see with Adoree what they had put him on a pitch count kind of thing for Minnesota. Because you can be in shape and all that and everything, but there's being in shape and then there's being in football shape. It's a little different story. So I said it'd be interesting to see if they put special packages out there on the field for whatever, if they put them in there for maybe 20 snaps or exactly how it works out. All right, then of course you got Casey Crider. Jamie Gillian is the holder and the punter. Punt returner is Olszewski. Darius Slayton is the second punt returner. Wan'Dale Robinson is the third, and Tyrone Tracy is the fourth. Kick returner, Gunnar Olszewski. Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Tyrone Tracy, and of course Graham Gano. The interesting thing is that they got, for the kick return, they got Gunnar Olszewski and Darius Slayton. So I thought that maybe possibly they would have 2 returnmen back there, but we'll have to wait and see. Because a lot of it also is that sometimes, how like the offenses are really kind of vanilla in the, you don't want to tip your hat or tip your hand, I guess, as they say it too much. A lot of the defenses are kind of basic, but the offense is kind of vanilla and all that. So maybe you don't want to tip your hand or whatever it is, maybe as far as any kind of kick returning kind of thing. But I thought they had 2 guys back there, so we'll have to wait and see. They said we got Darius Slayton would be the, is this, once again, it's just unofficial. But I mean, they got Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson. So I mean, it's like those are like 2 starters that they have. Adoree Jackson said he would like to return too. Of course, you remember he returned the one time on a punt and he got injured. But Tyrone Tracy's on there, and he's the third string running back on this unofficial list. So maybe Tracy might have a hand at returning some kickoffs. So we'll have to wait and see. And then, of course, oh, man. He's like, I don't know what the hell you want to call it. I guess it's easy to make fun of him. You just love to make fun of him, Kadarius Toney, the loser that he is. So he's trying out with the Seahawks. My thing is that, man, I'll tell you what, love him, hate him, whatever, right? With Kadarius Toney, with the Seahawks, I mean, if by some miracle of God, I mean, the guy can actually stay healthy for more than like 3 plays in a row. I mean, could you imagine if they were to sign him? Now, the young Joker, as I think his rap handle, his rapper or whatever it is, called. You guys to realize, that his guaranteed money, his first stringer is over. Nobody's paying him $8 million, right? So he might have to take what he can get. So, I mean, Seattle might get themselves maybe some type of a bargain, get him in relatively cheap. Because, I mean, it's like, it's like, dude, you suck. You always get injured. You drop balls. I don't know if, a lot of many GMs out there saw him, flashing the middle finger to the Giant fans as he was trying to get, his ring, Super Bowl ring sized or whatever like that. So I'm sure there's certain teams out there that don't want nothing to do with him. Right. So, but I mean, if Seattle gets him on the cheap, and if the moron can actually stay healthy, right? I mean, could you imagine? I mean, it's October 6th, week 5, the Giants will be playing. Could you imagine? I mean, love him, hate him, despise him, whatever. There's no denying if the guy can stay healthy. And so there's a couple big ifs here. The guy can actually stay healthy, and the guy actually can catch a pass because he's good at dropping passes still. But I mean, getting the ball in his hands, I mean, there's no denying the guy's got some moves. But I mean, could you imagine if they went 4 wide against the Giants? The Giants would have to cover the Joker. And if he gets on the field against his old teammate, the Giants, he's going to want to do something. He's tough to tackle. The one thing I do got to tip my cap a little bit to him is that he helped beat the Eagles, and I fucking hate the Eagles. So he helped beat the Eagles. So Kadarius, thank you. All the fun I've made of you. I know you're not listening to this, but thank you. So. I'll make so much fun of you, but thank you for at least beating the Eagles. Thank you. I was actually cheering for you, right? But I'm saying, if you can get 4 wide, I mean, can you imagine trying to cover Kadarius Toney, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf? Could you imagine those 4 guys on the field at one time? Good luck. God bless. That's a heck of a foursome right there. I mean, unless one of them's injured or something like that. If they do have Toney, I mean, he would be, he wouldn't be a starter. Like I said, unless they had some injuries or something. But I mean, can you imagine October 6th? That'd be a tough foursome for the Giants to try to cover. Without question. I mean, that's a heck of a. And Geno Smith throwing the ball to him. So that'll be tough. That'll certainly be tough. But he visits the Seahawks after he gets cut. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's just a first-round draft pick and 4 years. 4 years, your first-round draft, you've actually gone through 2 teams, and they don't extend your 5th-year option or nothing like that. And they just like, it's all right. Bye-bye. He has visited a new team as he attempts to salvage his NFL career. ESPN's Field Yates reported Tuesday that Toney visited with the Seahawks. He's only 25 years old. Toney was a 2021 first-round pick for the Giants, who traded him to the Chiefs in the middle of the 2022 season. So, I mean, it's like we drafted him, and he only – well, of course, the thing is, of course, this regime didn't draft him. The old regime drafted Gettleman drafted him, right? So, but I mean, so he lasted 1 year with the Giants, and a little ways into his second season, which would be the first season for Daboll and Shane, and they're like, this guy's a nut. I mean, his injuries and just, oh my God. Let's see. He went on to have a big second half, obviously, in the Super Bowl victory over the Eagles. It was a healthy scratch in the Chiefs' repeat Super Bowl win in 2024, but that didn't stop him from reveling in the aftermath. Despite releasing Toney, Chiefs general manager, I don't quite understand. Brett Veach had no regrets about trading for him in 2022. I don't think we're sitting here going for a third straight Super Bowl championship had we not made that trade, Veach told reporters last week. So from that standpoint, we do it all over again in a heartbeat. Okay. Last season, Toney had 27 catches, 169 yards, and 1 touchdown. Of course, 13 regular season games, 2 catches a game. He averaged about, what would that be? About 13 yards receiving a game. So the Seahawks last year went 9-8 last season and missed the playoffs in the NFC. So, I mean, hey, yeah, somebody like him, maybe give a spark to the team, but I'm sure there's not too many teams out there willing to take a chance on the young Joker because the joke is on him. All right, and then finally we got good old, this is if you're a player, if you're a pro, you're a pro's pro and blah blah blah, all that stuff. And this is what you live for, right? This is what you live for. Good old Mr. Banks. Looking forward to spending some time on the field with Justin Jefferson. Now, the one thing is that, of course, now this is the old defense. The defensive coordinator obviously is not here for the Giants anymore. But when we did face off against Jefferson, the couple of times in 2022, he didn't really necessarily go off on us. It was Hockenson who caught, I think, 74 catches a game. It was just like every time they dropped back the pass, it's Hockenson, wide open. Catch number 42 for the game. Drop back. Hey, Hawkinson's, there you go. Catch another. It was just like, so we spent so much time covering, I guess, one guy underneath, maybe somebody over top of him, whatever, So Jefferson really didn't go off on us. But the one nice thing is that Hawkinson's not going to be playing in this game. So if we can take a little page out of the 2022 coverage, right, that we did on Jefferson, right, Hawkinson won't be there. So that's a plus. That's a plus. Because, I mean, obviously, you only got so many players. It's not like, we'll just double cover everybody. We'll blitz 7 guys. If you're going to double cover one guy, you're going to leave you weak in another area. And when you got a good amount of quality receivers like the Vikings do, double cover Jefferson. That's kind of a no-brainer. Or double cover. Just let him eat you alive, right? But if you're going to double cover him, you're going to be a little weak, in some of the areas of your defense. So it is what it is. But at least they won't have Hockenson, so that's good. I really don't know how they got him. I didn't make that. How can you get somebody that good? But anyway. But Tay Banks is looking, this is what I want. Banks smiled at the question he knew was coming. Yes, the young Giants cornerback is excited about the prospect of lining up against Justin Jefferson. And he knew the $140 million man. Jesus Christ. No easing his way into the shallow end of the pool right away. Banks is being thrown into the part where he can't stand. Sink or swim. You got that right, brother. I love the fact it's right into it. Just take it head on, Banks said on Tuesday as Big Blue prepared to face Minnesota on Sunday. This is what they drafted me for. This is what I came here to do. This is what I want. I wouldn't want it any other way, really. I mean, basically, you could darn near just say straight up, probably pretty much the best receiver in football. Boom. Week 1, go get him, Tiger. Right? It gives me a challenge. I like challenges. They're fun. I feel like I match up well. Okay. All right. I hope so, man. I hope you do. This is just the start of this for the second-year cornerback. He will draw tough assignments this year. But Jefferson CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin. Oh, yeah, I mean, the Giants are thin at corner. Dory Jackson was brought back over the weekend after Cordell Flott and Nick McLeod failed to establish themselves as a number 2 guy. Starts against the 6'1" Jefferson, who is average. I mean, this is just crazy. I mean, it's just he's averaged 98 receptions, 1,474 yards, and 7.5 touchdowns in 4 years in the league. A season ago, he had 68 catches for 1,074 and 5 scores in just 10 games. So at that rate, once again, he would have had another 100 catches for over about 1,500 yards, maybe more, and he would have had probably about 8 touchdowns or so, or whatever, if not more. So, I mean, the guy is just a freak. He's elite, so he does a lot of things well. The 23-year-old Banks said he's great at contested catches. He's great at it. But Giants talking about Banks. Now the Giants need him to take his next step. It starts in week 1 against one of the premier receivers in the NFL. Banks believes he's ready. I'm not a person that lacks confidence, but I feel so confident, he said. I feel really good. Banks has several personal goals for the upcoming season. He was willing to share one of them. The Pro Bowl. He will have plenty of opportunities to prove he's deserving of such an honor. Oh, yeah. He's got he's got his work cut out for him. I tell you what, he's going to try to make the Pro Bowl. But the one thing I would like to see the Giants do is like next season, I said, is that let's get somebody next to Sexy Dexy in the draft. And let's get another cornerback, another young stud of a cornerback, because I don't know how many times we're going to keep bringing a Dory Jackson back. And if they're not really that crazy about maybe Flott or McLeod or whatever like that out there. I mean, we got Phillips, we got Banks. Let's go out there and get ourselves another young. We got some safeties, right? Let's get ourselves another young cornerback, right? And then let's get another defensive tackle next to Sexy Dexy. And I'll tell you what, if we can get that, boy, we have the makings of a really, really good defense. All right, guys, been 57 minutes. Vinny G-Man and David D. Thanks for the comments, guys. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for staying up with me. I greatly appreciate it. So, as always, guys, whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means well to me as always. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.